Hello and welcome to Always Right. Today I'm joined with Isobel.
Hello.
Are you nervous?
I am. I've never been on a podcast before, so.
True. Well, I'm so glad you're here, but don't be nervous. It's just like a conversation, but I kind of laugh when I record with people. The second I start recording, they go like, I don't know, they freak out a little bit. Even though like no
Yeah.
one listens to my show, but like,
You never
who
know.
cares?
You might be a famous Hollywood director one day, and then this will be, in the archive somewhere.
Very true. But I do have listeners from the Netherlands,
Oh, wow. That's
which
actually really awesome.
I don't know why. I'm like, why did they listen to me? But so if you're
Do you
listening to
know
this from the
anyone?
Netherlands, love you.
Do you know anyone in the Netherlands?
No.
Oh,
Actually,
cool.
actually
Let's
one of
just.
I don't think it's this guy, but one of the interns that I was with in Hong Kong was from the Netherlands. But
Yeah.
I don't think I don't think it's him listening to it. And like because on the program I use, you can see where people are listening from. And
Mm-hmm.
there's some people like from Dallas, Texas. I'm just
That's
like,
so cool.
how did they find how did they find me? I have like no format and I just talk. I don't know. I guess some people like it.
That's awesome. Well, hello, anyone out there.
Yeah, hello, international fans. But how have you been?
I'm good. Isolation has been weird, to be honest. I,
Yeah.
I hate learning online so
Oh, I
much.
can't even imagine.
Yeah, it's rough. Like everything is self-led, and while I am a perfectionist and somewhat academic, I have
I
like
think you're
zero
academic.
motivation. Yeah. I have like such bad self-control though, and like I'll try and get things done before they're due, and then I'll always leave it to the last minute.
Right.
Other than other than like last night where I had an assignment which I thought was due, but it actually wasn't. So it was annoying.
Yes, right. But I always think about like how you actually are like learning online because you're studying
Mm,
art, right?
yeah, yeah,
And
it's
I
super different.
I just think
Yeah,
how do you do your assignments now?
yeah. Well, it's super different to what it would be in person. Like all of our assignments have had to be adjusted to be way more theoretical, because we obviously don't have access to equipment and things. So
Yeah.
it's been really weird. Oh, oh my gosh, so much research.
I hate
It's
that.
like become like a research diploma instead of an art diploma.
I mean, I guess it's like good skills to have, but also like you'd rather be hands-on
Yeah,
doing making stuff.
yeah. I mean, yeah, we still can do that at home a little bit, but it's way more limited.
Yeah.
Just
But I
interesting.
miss uni. Like I miss like
Yeah.
the the social part the most, I
Mm,
guess.
yeah. Oh,
Like
so do I.
do you have
The
friends at
social
uni
part.
in your course?
Yeah, yeah, it's been really hard for everyone, I think. And like, because especially in art, I don't know if it's like with your
Hmm.
course, but like you kind of bounce off ideas with each other and
Totally.
like get ideas and troubleshoot.
Hmm.
And there's just not that online because there's no
Oh,
opportunity to have those kind of
yeah.
conversations.
See, that's what I loved about my course is that like I guess maybe for art it's a bit different, but in my course, like everything was group work because we all had to
Mm.
work on videos together and it was like very collaborative, which I loved. And like I think that's I don't know, it's
Yeah,
just
use
funny
each other's
because yeah,
skills.
you use each other's skills
Yeah.
and also like I know a few other people who aren't in media, who aren't studying media, and they're like to me, how did you like get so many friends from your course? Like I can't like make friends. And I'm like, well, we had to spend hours and hours together and like overnight editing stuff at uni and like
Oh
that's
my
really how
gosh,
you make
seriously.
friends. Yeah. But
Overnight.
yeah.
Oh my
Like there's
god.
this one girl, I'm gonna have her on my podcast soon, I think. Um, she because there's like a media basement where they have all the equipment and stuff, and that's where the editing suites are, and you can get like passes to like stay in the editing suite overnight. And one morning I came in to like pick up equipment or something, and she was sitting there in her pajamas, and I was like, what? Like, did you get here early? And she goes, no, I slept here overnight. Also, there's no couches, there's no like
no.
anywhere to sleep. And she was just like, yeah, I just slept under the computer, under the desk. And I'm like,
that is dedication.
that is dedication, but at the same time, I feel like you only get to that point when you really haven't done any work. Because like I never had to do that because like I kind of like stayed up to date. But oh my God, it made me laugh so much. I was like, I cannot believe she slept here overnight. And one time I was there with like, who was I with? I was with one of my friends editing something, and it was late at night, like I think like 11 or midnight, around there. And there were a few other people in other editing suites, and like we would just like get bored of editing and just like walk around, and people were just like had alcohol drinking in the in the editing suite, and I was like, I feel like you're too comfortable doing that. Like you're there to work.
True.
I know, it just made me
Did
laugh.
you ever? That's so funny. Did you ever have like lecturers or teachers or whatever come around and check on people?
No, because I think that all the staff leaves at like 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. They leave like pretty early in the night, so you can pretty much do whatever you want. But I think like if they found out, you'd probably get in trouble. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but
it's fine. You didn't say any names.
I didn't say any names. It's okay. I didn't rat anyone out. But I was just thinking that for people who don't know Isobel, obviously, because this is the first time on my show, we've been friends since high school. That's how we met.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about our incredible trip to France. So for listeners who don't know, Isobel and I and how many like students? I think it was 12 students.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Isabel's mum and to the principal of our school and our French teacher, we all went on a 2-week trip to France in 2012. So how old were you? I was 15, so I guess you were like 14.
I would have been 15. No, I would have been.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm your age. Claire's a year younger.
I always think you're a year younger than me. I don't know why. Yeah, I think it's because of Claire. I don't know. I get you confused. But yes, we went on this trip 15. And it was crazy.
It was a wild trip.
It's one word to describe it. But I was just thinking, I was going through all the photos that I had the other day that I had taken in France. And I literally took photos of everything. I have so many photos of just like us, or not me, obviously, because I'm taking the photo, but everyone just walking, eating. I'm like, why do I have photos?
That's awesome, though. I love that because it's so often you get photos of just the places, and then there's no one actually in them.
Yes, it was very like realism, not posed. Everyone just like living. But I was going to ask you, do you have any particular memories of France that you can remember?
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day when you sent me Snapchats of some of those photos. I don't even remember where it was, but there was this place, and do you remember the wind was so crazy?
Yes.
I actually have no idea where it was. It was like a castle type place.
I think it was like, was that the place where it was like, had all the walls around the city?
I think it might have been, yeah.
I think that was called Aigues-Mortes or something.
Aigues-Mortes, yeah, that's right, yeah. And I just remember, like, actually being completely diagonal, like in the
I
wind,
remember.
to try and not get blown over. It was like the
remember.
most crazy thing, like weather-wise, I've experienced. Probably it was so
It was
weird.
so windy. I remember that day so well.
I actually remember also getting like pulled back by the wind. It almost
Yeah,
like
it was really
completely
strong.
falling over. It was so weird. It was
I
so
remember
funny.
it was funny when I was going through the photos in like the beginning of the trip, because we went on this trip with some like older people who were
Yeah,
like year
yeah,
levels
a couple
above
of years
us.
older,
But
couple of year
most of the
levels older.
people
Yeah,
were like in our year level.
yeah.
But the older people, shout out to you guys if you're listening. Obviously, we didn't really know them. And
Mm,
so it's funny, like looking at the photos in the beginning, and we're very like separated. Like I could see all of
yes.
them in the photos, like all of them together, and then like all of us. And
And then we
then,
became friends.
yes, as it kept going, it's like, oh, they get closer, they're in like more photos. And like this, this one photo I have in Neem. I don't know if you remember, but
Oh yeah,
it's where Hana was in the tree.
that was so good.
And we all played like ping pong outside and stuff like that. But I have a photo of you, you and Claire sitting at a table alone. And then the table behind you is, I don't know if I'm going to use people's names, but like, I'm not saying anything negative, was
It's fine.
Rachel and Rhiannon.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I guess they didn't like, they didn't want to sit together. And then I took other photos of other stuff, and then I, for some reason, came back, took a photo, and you were all sitting at the same table. It was very weird.
Oh, that's cute.
In my mind, I was like, wow, during the time I was taking other photos, they must have spoken and they like merged tables.
That's cute. Oh, that was
But yeah,
fun.
we made some good friends, and I have
Yeah.
so many photos in like the hotel rooms of all of us just hanging out. Like I remember in Paris, which is where we all had very small hotel rooms. And
Yeah, we
for
did.
some reason, we still, like 12 of us all hung out in one room.
I think because, yeah, we just decided to hang out for the evening and then go back to our individual rooms later
Yeah.
on.
But it's just funny because I was like, we have nothing else to do, I guess. We couldn't really
Yeah.
like go off and do
Well,
anything on
yeah,
our own.
no. And it's like as if you're going to hang out in the lobby of the hotel. It's a little
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. It's like the only option you have is hang out in each other's rooms, I guess. But
Mm.
oh my God, I just think some stuff that happened just makes me laugh. Like, do you remember when we were in I think it was Gord, maybe?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
When Adam broke the roof? Do you remember?
Tell me that
We
story.
were walking, it was right as we got there. We were like walking down the street or something, and it
Oh
was
my
like
gosh, I just remembered. Yes.
yes, it was like a hill. So there was like a building into the hill. And obviously in France, they have those like a lot of
A
tiled roofs.
tiled
And
roofs. Yeah.
I have a photo of him on the roof before it broke. And he like is jumping up on the roof, like just doing something funny, I guess, and like broke the tile of the roof.
Oh
And
my
I
god.
remember it so vividly. But like
I
I
just,
also remember that like we just kept walking, like nothing
yeah,
happened.
it was like, whoops, let's just keep going.
Yeah. Let's just ignore that. That didn't happen.
Let's just pretend.
But I remember that
Mm.
I love the trip because like it's an amazing memory, but in terms of like traveling, it was a lot.
Mm. Mm. We went so far in such a short amount of time.
We did. And I just think
And
obviously it was obviously we knew how it was going to be,
mm.
but obviously when I think back I'm like, oh, it would have been better if like we didn't have a teacher and like we could do our own stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Then again, we were like 15. So
Yeah, exactly. It's like I probably wouldn't have wanted to be alone anyway. But do you have a
Yeah.
favorite place that we went to?
Ooh, I loved Nice.
Oh,
It
I
was, I
love
think it was
Nice
like the
too.
first place we went to,
Yeah,
but it was just so stunning. And I think we weren't so tired then as well. I think that had a factor. We're
totally.
kind of able to enjoy it.
I agree
Um,
completely.
yeah. And the beach there was really nice.
It
Like it was just really
was.
nice to just put your feet in the water, even though it was like, was it like semi-nude beach? It was really odd.
I think it was.
And
Yes.
there was like stones instead of sand,
Yeah,
but
Pebble Beach.
yeah. It was still really nice though, just to be like, oh, and just relax
I
after such
know.
a long aeroplane ride. Yeah, that was
Torture.
good.
Do you remember who you sat next to on the flight? On the flight there?
Probably Claire. I think Claire.
Where did I sit?
Or
I
maybe
th-
Hannah
I
or
think I
something.
sat
Yeah.
with like Cameron and someone else. But then I remember on like some of the other flights, I don't remember which flight it was, but I think it was Claire was like with Daniel and he fell asleep on her shoulder. Am I
Oh
making that up or
yeah. No,
like,
I remember that
yeah.
too. That was funny.
Yeah, but oh my God. For some reason, because obviously I've been to, was that the only time you've been to Europe?
No, I was incredibly lucky to be able to go to Europe when I was in late primary school with my
Oh,
family.
really? Where did you go?
Yeah, so I went to England, Italy, and France.
Wow,
Yeah,
I did not know that.
yeah.
That's cool
Oh,
though.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so good. We went to like places like Venice, which was
Oh, wow.
incredible.
I've
It was
always
like
wanted to go there.
one of my favorite places in the world. Um, and we went to Florence, which was like the only place in almost all of Europe where we had access to grass. It was
Really?
just so it was so exciting just finding grass instead of cobblestones because it just hurt your
Yes,
feet so much. And we just
true.
were like in bare feet on the grass.
But
Um,
do you remember a lot of it or no?
oh, look, bits and pieces. To be honest, like that time of my life, I was really, really sick.
Mm,
And like that's why my mum came on the France trip. That's why I
yes.
was able to go.
Yeah.
Um, which, you know, had its pros and cons.
Yep.
Let's just say that. But yeah, no, I do remember it, but it's like patchy
Yeah,
memories.
of course, as all
Yeah.
memory is.
Yeah.
The other place in France that I loved was, although I don't think we were there very long, but Cannes. I loved Cannes.
Yes, that was
I
awesome.
have a lot of photos of like the walk where all the celebrities like have their handprints and
Yeah, that was fun. That was good. And like trying to find people who fit your hand. I
yes,
can't think
of
who
course. And
I
Saint
found.
Tropez, I totally forgot that we went there. And I was going through the photos and
Oh, yes.
I was like, oh my God, I guess that's Saint Tropez.
Oh, that's right. And I remember our principal bought us all ice cream. That was so
Yes, I
sweet.
was gonna say I remember the
And it was
ice
like
cream.
not cheap either because there was so many of
No,
us. I was like, oh, that's so nice. And
there's a delivery
beautiful
guy
books.
like leaving something at my door. He's probably looking at me like, what is this person doing? Anyway, um, the other memory that I always think about is I think that it was in Paris, but I don't actually remember. I think it was in Paris because we all went to like a big shopping mall and
Yeah, we had to kill like 5 hours or something.
I
And
think,
it
yeah,
was
I
this
think that's what it
tiny
was.
shopping mall and we were just like so bored.
Yes. And I got in the elevator with, I think with Daniel and Adam, and like there were a lot of us in the elevator. And I remember it was going up and it broke.
No way.
No, I swear, I must have told everyone this, but I feel like you probably don't remember. But yeah, it broke. And I was like, I don't know where everyone else was. Like, everyone else was, you were all just like shopping or whatever. And
Just
Miss
window
Travers
shopping.
wasn't with us. I think, I think Robbo might have been there. I don't know. But we're all just like, what do we do? And then we were like ringing the bell and the guy was speaking French. And we
Oh
were
no, and
just,
you couldn't be
yeah,
like,
we
help.
were like, Aidez-moi, aidez-moi. That's all I know how to say. And then like no one came, but then for some reason the elevator like went down, and then we got out again, and I was like, oh, maybe it was just like a weird fluke. So then I got back in, I think by myself to go. I don't know why I did that, but
Just take the stairs.
yeah, I got back in, and then I like we tried to get off at the top floor, and that's also where I tried to get off the second time, and it didn't work. And I was like, it must be to do with the top floor. So then it let me go down, and I did the floor under, and it let me out. I don't know. It was very odd.
Oh, that is weird.
Very odd
That is very
experience.
weird.
But do you have anything
Actually,
else that you...
another memory I had when I was trying to think of things was where was it? I think it might have also been Gord, where there were those rock houses.
Yes.
They were like made out of
I
rocks.
think that was Gord, yeah.
Yeah, it was like perfectly balanced, so there didn't need to be any kind of cement or anything between them. It was pretty cool. But I remember being so completely terrified when those airplanes came.
Yes. Yes.
And we literally thought we were gonna die. Like
I know.
They were so loud.
And we still don't know
bombed.
like what they were doing.
Yeah, see, I was talking to my mum about it not actually that long ago, and she was saying that there was actually like an air show nearby.
Oh.
And that like explained the whole thing, but none of us took that in or anything like that. So we just had no idea.
8 years later, and I'm just finding out that they weren't actually trying to kill us.
That's right. But they were those kind of aircraft, so that probably
it was like
have
like
bombs on them, which is why they were so loud and so scary.
I remember that so vividly. I also remember the Doors lady. Do you remember?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I was just thinking, why did we call her the Doors lady? But I think it's because she showed us a lot of old doors, right?
Yeah, she showed us. She was always pointing out the beautiful doors and had this ridiculous way of speaking.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just a French accent. She was like,
it was very theatrical.
Yeah.
But I remember she showed us a lot of like plague stuff. She would be like, that's like a plague sign. That's a plague sign. That's a plague sign. I'm like, oh, okay, interesting.
Kind of relevant, feels a bit.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, it really does. Wow. You know, the circles within the circles.
But like, I think it was just, her pointing out doors all the time for no apparent reason. She just
we just called her the Doors lady.
And she always like tried to get us to be really close, even though it was not that nice to be close to her.
No. I guess she just wanted us to hear better, I guess. But I feel like it makes me laugh because I feel like the point of the trip was to like get better at French. And I feel like we did not speak French like at all.
I remember speaking French to order my food.
That's it. Same.
And that's pretty much it.
Same.
I think.
I can still remember I say, Je voudrais une crêpe au chocolat. That's
yeah, exactly.
Of course. But yeah, I feel like I never really, I don't know.
I mean, it was good for history. It would have made more sense as a history trip, to be honest.
Yeah, it would have.
Yeah.
I mean, either way. But although I do remember that when we were at the Arc de Triomphe, because I feel like Miss Therese, who was our French teacher, the one who took us there, I feel like she like told us phrases to say when like pickpocketers or like things like that, or like around people that you didn't want to be around. Because I remember her teaching me ne me touche pas, which means like don't touch me.
Oh.
And I remember we were at not the Eiffel Tower, the Arc de Triomphe, and I always think about this because I always think like, anyway, like this couple came up to me and were like, can you take a photo of us? And I was like, Yeah, I will, because they didn't seem like it was just a man and a
On.
woman. Like I didn't
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
like anything of it. And then like the woman like hands me her camera and I like go to take the photo and Miss Trevez comes over and she snatches the camera out of my hand and I can't remember, she was like talking in French to like these people and she like shoved the camera at them and it was like, no, 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 no. And I was like, oh my God, like what? And she was like, Charlie, no, I told you can't do that. And in my mind, to this day, I still think they were just a normal
The
couple.
genuine.
Yeah, I think
Oh
I think she overreacted.
no. Like there are tourists here, like us.
Yeah, there were so many tourists. I was like, and I feel like now whenever I travel, because I had to do it in Spain a lot because like I did a lot of like
Mm.
trips by myself on the weekend and I would have to get people to take photos of me. I would always think like it's so awkward to do that because I feel like they're going to be like, what if this is a pickpocketer? Even though I'm Australian,
Mhm.
I mean, you never know. Anyone could be a pickpocketer.
Yeah.
But I also remember when we went to, do you feel like the Eiffel Tower is kind of underwhelming?
Yeah, pretty much. Like
I
it's good
agree.
to go up and get a view of the overall place. Like that's really pretty, but yeah, it's a little bit overrated, I think.
It is because
Definitely.
I remember, I just think all like major tourist place are overrated.
It's always like the little secret places that are awesome.
Totally. And it's like, I don't really need to go see a place where there's 10 million tourists trying to do a little point on the tower, like outside. It's, like when people do like the Leaning Tower of Pisa,
The Leaning Tower, I was just thinking that.
it's like we get it, you went there. Um, but I remember like as we were like walking towards the Eiffel Tower, I like dropped my camera bag or something. And then I can't remember how long after, but then I said to Mr. Rez, I was like, oh, I think I dropped my camera bag. I think that it was like really like soon after. So I was like, it's probably still there. And I said to her, I dropped it. And she was like, oh, you can try and look for it, but I guarantee that it's gone. And then I turned around and it was like completely gone. Because then I
Dang.
remember like the Eiffel Tower has like the most pickpocketers
Oh yeah. Oh
like
yeah.
out of anywhere.
There's so many. And they can either look really obvious or completely blend in too.
Yes. Well,
It's
I
so
think when they
yeah.
do like the clipboard, that's
Oh yeah.
that's how that's how you know. I remember when I was in um Berlin, how
Mm.
long ago was it? In 2018, after I went to Hong Kong, um I was like meeting Addie somewhere like on the other side of like a river. And like I didn't realize, but apparently like this bridge is like really massive for like tourists. And as I'm crossing the bridge, just like 10 million kids with clipboards,
Oh
and they
my
would not.
goodness.
There was so like the most I've ever seen in one place, and I was like, oh my
Wow.
God. So then I just like didn't even speak to them, and then I got to the other side. And I was just watching all of these people stop and talk to them. And I wanted to be like,
No.
don't do it.
Stop it.
And it's like, I guess you have to make mistakes before you can learn. So I
Mm,
was like, I'm just going to let them do it.
yeah. I remember on my family trip in Europe, we were walking over a bridge and a guy tapped my dad on the shoulder and went, "You dropped your wedding ring." And it wasn't actually his wedding ring. But like the aim was to get you to take it and then demand money from it or something. And
Oh.
my dad was just like, "No, thank you." Luckily he knew.
Yeah. That one like scares me because they also do that in Spain a lot. Like there's
Mm,
this massive cathedral like where I stayed in Murcia and there's all these restaurants outside and where all the tourists come and I would go there a lot because like the people speak English like in all the restaurants.
yeah.
And yeah, people would just come up, keychains, like put it on the table and then walk away. And one time they like this woman, she didn't even say anything. She just came up, put like the keychain on the table and walked away. And I was like, well, like, do I get to keep this for free? And everyone at the table was like, no, don't even touch it because she'll be somewhere watching. And if she sees you pick it up, then she'll come back. But then as we go to leave, I'm like, I don't see her. So then I took it and nothing ever happened.
Oh, there you
So
go.
I think that she must have just left. She was just over it.
Maybe she's like, oh, they're not going to take it.
Yeah. I mean, also it was
Give it up.
shitty little keychain anyway. So it's probably worth no money. But I remember the food in France being amazing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was really good. Except they had so much goat's cheese.
Yes. I remember
where
were we?
Goat's cheese.
We were eating a pizza or something and it had goat's cheese on it.
Like every single restaurant, it felt like. Every single one. And it was like this weird starter dish. It was always there. I don't know if you remember. It was like toast or like a baguette or something.
Yeah.
With goat's cheese and like basil.
I was about to say there was something green on it. I remember the green. Yeah.
I feel it must have just been a trend that was really hardcore at that point because it was like at every restaurant I remember.
Interesting.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of goat's cheese.
No, neither.
But I remember
I felt like we had to eat it though because like
I know.
Do you remember like the waitresses and stuff would be like, oh, don't you like it? I always felt so judged when I was like, no, it's just too much food. Sorry.
Yes, completely. But I remember like the breakfast was always the best.
Oh,
like in all the hotels we stayed at, they would usually have like
croissants and
what's it called? Continental breakfast, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
like a buffet type thing. But I think I've told a story on here about my food poisoning. Do you remember?
You poor thing. I just remember like the aftermath because of course I didn't know you had it until I heard about it afterwards. I was like, oh my goodness.
Oh my God. I just remember because I've already told the story on here, so people, go find that episode. But I remember like in the morning after things that happened, without me getting too specific, I woke up and I saw, as I was waking up, Brad, like not even having his suitcase zipped up, just like lunging out the door to get out of the room. And I was like,
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, you know what? I totally get it. And then I had that room to myself, like the rest of our trip.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because we were in like groups of 2 or something, weren't we?
Yeah, but I think there was some groups of 3 with the guys, and I think he like joined a group of 3. But oh my God, that was the worst. And then I remember I said to Miss Trevez, I was like, oh, I feel absolutely awful. I like don't want to come out today. And she like wouldn't let me stay in the room. She was like, you have to come. And I was like, oh. And then I remember we went to it was some type of garden. I think it was whatever like a famous garden is in Paris. It was that. And I remember how we would always get croque monsieur.
Oh, yes.
I remember there was like a little place there and everyone was eating that. And everyone was like, oh, Charlie.
Like, I don't want to eat anything.
They were like, Charlie, eat. I also remember, this is so funny that I remember this. I think it was on that day, but because I feel like it's always like a problem with like money. And it's like, oh, I don't have the right amount of coins or whatever. I remember you just bought me like a drink. And I was like, oh, like I'll pay you back. And you go, don't worry about it. So I remember that.
Oh, there you go.
And then because I couldn't eat anything, so I remember just like drinking lemonade.
Yeah, lemonade does help it.
It does. But oh man.
Oh,
What a bad experience.
I feel so bad for you. That was awful.
But it makes for a great story.
Oh,
Like the whole
absolutely.
trip makes for a great story, really. But yeah, I didn't like Paris as much as like
No, yeah.
the south of France is like
South of
so much
France,
better.
absolutely gorgeous. Yeah.
And that's also where Miss Trevez was from, our French teacher. She was from the south. And I remember when we were going to Paris, she was like, "Oh, I don't like Paris." I was like, "Oh."
We're all like, what's wrong with you?
I was like,
And then
okay.
we get there and it's like, oh, okay, I get
Yeah,
it.
we get it. And like, because I made a friend in Spain who was from France, but not from Paris. She was from like some little tiny town. And I was like, yeah, I don't really like Paris. I feel like it's like way overhyped. I don't really like get it. And she was like, that's how every French person feels about Paris too. They're
That's
like,
so
yeah,
funny.
we don't understand. I mean, they're like, they understand why it's a tourist thing, but
Mm,
everywhere else in France is like better than Paris. And I was
yeah.
like,
I mean, it does have some definite like pluses with the museums and, galleries and stuff.
yeah,
And like me being like really into art, that's amazing. And I love to go to the galleries. But
yes,
yeah, that's, yeah, no, I get it.
yeah. But overall, I think it was an
Mm.
amazing trip. And I think that like we're very lucky that we got
Oh
to
my
do that
goodness,
because
yes. So
but
lucky.
now before and after us, there has never been another trip to France. We were like the only one that our school
That's
has
right,
done.
we were.
So I think we're like so lucky
Well,
that we got that chance.
yeah. Wasn't it only like a couple of months after we went? Weren't there like riots in oh no, the accident in Nice
Yes.
where that was it
The truck
was
driver guy?
awful. It was like a truck or a bus or something and then
Yes,
oh
I
it was
remember.
horrible. And I just remember seeing it on the news and being like, "Oh my goodness." Like that
No.
like I always hate that could have been me kind of thing. Because
Yeah.
I was there a month ago, it could have been me.
Yeah.
But like it felt really real because we'd just seen that place
Totally.
and it was really scary. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember they like I can't remember I think it was around then, but I remember there was some type of like um terrorist threat in like Belgium or something.
Mm,
I think it was like right when I can't remember exactly when it was, but I think it was like right when we were in Paris or something. So that was also
really?
drama.
I don't actually remember that.
I'm gonna have to look it up because I
Yeah.
think it was around then. But I also remember at our school they wanted to have another France trip. I can't remember if it was still while we were maybe when we were in year 12 or something they were trying to do it.
Yeah, that's right.
Never happened.
No, it never happened. And I'm not even sure why specifically.
Me neither. I think it's just because they didn't have a lot of students who liked French. Because I remember
Mm.
when I was in doing year 12 French, we had like the year 11s and some year 10s in the class too. And I was like, well,
Mm.
there's obviously not going to be a French trip anytime soon
Was that
because no
just
one
because
wants to
there
do
was
French.
Yeah, was that just because they were such tiny classes? You may as well combine
Yeah.
them, or
Like,
yeah.
and yeah, which I just think it's funny how at our school you could learn French or Japanese.
Mm.
And I'm like, I feel like Japanese is so much harder than French, but somehow
Yeah,
they get more students.
yeah. I don't know. There's like three alphabets in Japanese,
So
and
confusing.
yeah, it's definitely a complicated language. I mean, French is too, but
I think
I don't know. I feel
at
like it's
least
not
that
quite
French
as.
has like our alphabet.
Oh gosh, yes, yeah.
That would be so confusing.
Mm.
But
I
is there
learned Japanese
anywhere?
at primary school.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and
Oh,
I'm not really sure why I swapped to French because it would have kind of made sense to just keep going
yeah, it would
with
have. But
Japanese. Um, but I think because I had learnt Japanese in early primary school, and then it kind of we didn't really have a LOT class later in primary school, so it
oh,
was just kind of whatever.
yeah, we
Didn't
learned
matter.
Indonesian in primary school. which
That's cool.
I guess makes sense because we are so close to Indonesia, but it's
We're
like,
so close. Yeah.
I don't know. Chris Hemsworth is fluent in Indonesian.
Really?
Yeah. I've watched
There you
interviews where
go.
he just speaks Indonesian. I'm like, wow,
That's
that's
so
cool.
cool. Are you still fluent in your Spanish?
God, I wouldn't say fluent. I do like a Duolingo lesson
Yeah.
every day and I try and keep it up, but when you're not
Good
there,
effort.
you know,
That's good. Even in ISO, like it's so easy to just be like, nah.
so easy. I think I have like 100 days straight of Duolingo lessons.
Nice.
That's pretty good, I guess.
It's pretty
But
good.
I remember like little things, but yeah, like when you're not in a place where everyone speaks it, it's very hard.
Yeah. I mean, if you go back there, I think it'll just come back to you.
I think so
It'll be in the
too.
back of your head somewhere, and it'll
Yeah.
just will come
I
up.
do really want to
Yeah.
go back, but God, who knows with the state of the world. Before we go, I have a BuzzFeed quiz that I would like to do with you.
Let's do it. Do I need my phone?
No. I'm just gonna
No?
like
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna give you the options and you can
Cool.
Okay. So this one is everyone has a Disney villain alter ego. What's yours? Because I feel like you like Disney, right?
Yeah, of course.
Of course, who doesn't? Okay. If you could be any of the following animals, which would it be? So there's a lot of options, so just listen. Cat, tiger, raven, fox, lion, snake, wolf, rabbit, owl.
Probably a cat.
I see that for you. Yep.
Yeah.
What is your greatest quality? Headstrong, smart, persuasive, resilient, ambitious, patient, honest, disciplined, creative. Creative, I'm going to say.
What's the actual thing? My
Greatest quality.
Greatest quality.
Or
Well, I'm certainly creative, but I'm not sure if it's my greatest quality.
I'll go through it again. Headstrong, smart, persuasive, resilient, ambitious, patient, honest, disciplined, creative.
I would say honest.
I was thinking you were going to say that. Okay. What's the best way to get back at an enemy? Expose them over social media, destroy an object that belongs to them, show off about how great your life is and make sure they see it, blackmail them, emotionally manipulate someone they love, do some sort of voodoo and curse them, snitch on them to someone in authority, sabotage their food, or poison them.
Wow.
I was reading these, I was like, are we gonna get to something not as dark that Isobel might actually pick, or
probably that just make my life awesome and make them see it.
Okay,
that's probably
that's
one
the
that
least
suits me most.
physically aggressive. Okay, what's a pet peeve of yours? Copycats, messy people, rudeness, invasion of personal space, attention seeker, incessant complaining, unreliable people, overly sensitive people, or being interrupted.
I've forgotten half of them already.
Okay, so copycats, messy people, rudeness, invasion of personal space, attention seeker, incessant complaining, unreliable people, overly sensitive people, or being interrupted.
Rudeness.
Yeah, that's kind of all encompassing of everything.
Yeah, but that's true.
Yeah. Do you have an actual pet peeve, your biggest pet peeve that you can think of in your mind?
I think when people are passive aggressive,
Oh,
that annoys me so much. If something's annoying you, then just tell me. Just tell me. I'd rather you just tell me.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Ugh. I also hate. I feel like I feel like you maybe do this sometimes, but I hate when people are late.
Oh. I'm so late all the time and I hate it about myself.
But
I hate it, but I can't. It's like it's hardwired in my brain. I don't know.
I feel
Yeah,
like
no.
I'm like one of the only people. Claire's always early,
Mm.
and me. Like I feel like everyone I know is just always late. So I'm used to it, but like the other day I was having like a games night with people and we were meant to like as we were like meant to be starting, they all messaged and said, "Oh, like I'm gonna be late." I'm like, "Well, I'm sitting here ready, but great." Hopefully they listen to this and be like, "Oh, Charlie, how dare you?"
Oh dang, I should really fix this.
Okay, so oh god, these are some long options. Okay. Which of these situations would make you most jealous?
Mm.
Seeing your best friend make friends with someone else, seeing your partner get close to someone you don't like, being compared to someone who's ultra attractive, having someone do better than you in a competition, watching someone be rewarded for something you don't think they deserve, getting less attention than a sibling or family member, a close friend getting in a new relationship while you're still single, making less money than a coworker, or watching someone's perfect life on social media. I feel like you wouldn't be jealous of any of these.
Yeah, not really. I mean, maybe like an award that you don't deserve. That's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be my one too. Okay. What accessory would you have if you were a villain? A cape? An evil bird? Some sort of sketchy drink? This is actually how these are worded. A sketchy bit of food? A cauldron? A staff? A crystal ball? A sword? Or a spell book?
Ooh, either a evil bird or a spell book.
Yeah.
I'm feeling evil bird.
Yep.
I'd like an evil bird friend. That'd be funny.
Of course. Um, which mystical power would you like to most have? Invisibility, eternal youth, eternal life, bringing people back from the dead, superhuman strength, transform into another person, telepathy, predict the future, or mind control.
Oh,
Such a tough one.
I would love to transform into another person.
Me
Just
too.
like for a day, just be like, oh, who am I going to be today?
Totally.
That would be so
Okay.
fun.
Oh my god. Okay, this is the last question. Pick a weirdly ominous color. So I'm gonna name them all and then I'll show them to you, right?
Okay.
So there's grey, maroon, black, kind of lilac, navy blue, green, brown, teal, and purple. So these are
I love the bright blue. Do that one.
oh, okay. So, are you ready? Here are your results. You got
Give it to me.
the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland.
Ooh, very
It
nice.
says, kind of loud and shouty with a pretty short temper. People know not to mess with you. I don't really think that's you,
Not
but
really true.
you know, whatever. You can be loud and shouty on the inside.
Well, that's not entirely untrue.
I think if you're really passionate about something, you would be like,
Yeah, it's really
totally.
true. Yeah.
But Isobel, thank you so much for joining me today.
No worries. This was fun.
Good, I'm
Thanks for
glad. I'm
having
glad you weren't too
me.
nervous.
It's fine.
But yeah, you have to come back anytime. We should have you and Claire on so we can talk about France
Yes, that
and
would be
just
good.
life. But do you have any social media you want to plug? You want to plug your artist?
Yeah, sure. I have an art account on Instagram. It is bell_blossom. Bell with one L. BEL.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I
But
got to
are you
plug.
still selling?
Yeah, so I'm selling prints and cards and things. Yeah. And I've got enamel pins on the way, which is very exciting.
I love that. But so if people want to
Yeah.
find that, should they just follow your Instagram and message you?
Yeah. Find my Instagram and then there'll be links from there.
Okay,
All
sweet.
good.
Well,
Yeah.
my Twitter and Instagram is Charlie Wright, Charlie with two R's, and you can follow this show on Instagram at Always Right Podcast. But Isabel, thank you so much for joining me, and
No
I
worries.
hope you had fun. But until next
I
time,
did.
bye.
Bye.